Okay, so when was the first moment you fell in love with directing and filmmaking? And what was the project that you saw on TV or film that inspired you to actually maybe get into this? Anyone, go for it.
I think, I don't know, as a young girl, I just was always obsessed with film and television. I just remember always watching it, so I knew I would be involved in it, but I didn't know how. And I think, yeah, we were talking about earlier about favourite films, and I think my favourite film was Jumanji, but it wasn't one that made me think, oh, I need to do a film. But yeah, I just think watching it every day and being consumed by, especially like Kenan and Kel, Sister Sister, having that American influence, I feel like that was a big push for me to want to make films and stuff like that. Okay. Yeah.
I think it was opposite for me. I never thought I was going to do this until I did it. So I've always loved TV, always loved film, like loved it. I was like that kid that would always be in the house watching TV, just like this close to the TV. And for years I just watched this stuff, and I always thought it was just so far from me. I thought the people that make this stuff, I can never do that. It's just a whole different world. And when I kind of fell in love with it was, I was working in a post-production company in IT, doing an IT role, and a guy who sat beside me wanted to make a short film, and I had this DSLR at the time. I was doing photography, and he took my DSLR for a weekend and went and made a short film. He came back, showed me the short film like 2 weeks later, and I thought, wow, you made that with this camera. Like, you actually made this with this small camera. I was like, if you can do that, maybe I can do that. And for the first time I thought to myself, maybe it's not that far a reach, maybe I can do this. And from then onwards I started making shorts, and that's kind of where I got the interest from. For
me, like when I look back on filmmaking, it's not like a moment when I first fell in love with it, but it's almost like a person, like a relationship, where you can kind of keep falling in love, and you have those moments where someone might do something or say something, you think, wow, I really love this person. Do you know what I mean? It's like that with film. It's like, I got my first camera, like it was called a Tyco video camera, and I had that when I was 9, and that's when I kind of started making films with I get my cousins, my sisters, whoever I could to get involved to start making films. And it was from there I did little simple camera tricks, like if you're filming something, can you move the glass, and you carry on filming, and oh look, I made it disappear. Do you know what I mean? And from there I thought, wow, there's a lot of power in this thing. I can like create stuff. And then I went on, I studied media at A-level, and then I went to study at uni as well. And it was each stage that I kept learning new things, that I kept falling more and more in love with what could come out of my imagination.
There was a time growing up when I watched Hoop Dreams. I don't know if it's a documentary filmed over, I think, an 8-year period. And I remember watching that, and for the first time I'd seen kind of this beautiful story of young black men going from one position to kind of really achieving, and it was all real life. It was all a true story. And for me, that just, it captured my imagination so much that I thought, that's what I want to do. You know what I mean? I want to be telling real stories, using real characters and documenting them over a period of time. And that film did that so perfectly. And because it was something that connected with me in terms of basketball, it was a sport that I liked, and I, you know, you saw this transformation of characters that I hadn't really seen in any other story, any other form of storytelling, and that film had an impact on me.
When you first got the idea that, okay, you're going to make stuff, direct stuff, what was your first kind of area? Was it you're going to do TV, film? What was the thing that you thought was your vision?
For me, it wasn't nothing specific. I didn't even know there was all these different roles. Okay. It was just, I have a camera. There was just one in my house. I don't know how I got there. And then I ended up, I ended up just seeing it. I was fiddling with it, and then my uncle gave me his old laptop, so I had something to edit on, and I was like stealing Wi-Fi from my neighbours to download programs and stuff. And you just ended up filming, editing. You just end up doing everything, and then as it progressed, you start understanding. Oh, you can be an editor, you can be, director, you can be a DP, stuff like that. And then, but it was all pretty much the whole thing. It was all magical, really. When I think about it now, it's crazy how it even happened, but there was nothing specific.
What's interesting about what you just said is he was stealing Wi-Fi. In my time, it was dial-up.
Oh, God. Oh, wow.
DSL.
Yeah.
You're lucky you got to steal one.
So, do you call yourself a director or a filmmaker?
Both. Me.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah, both. Both, yeah. I mean...
Is there a difference?
No.
Because is that like filmmaker describes the whole process and director is specific, so...
Well, I kind of think a filmmaker is someone that has a vision of something they want to do, whereas which is also a director, but it's normally, to me, it always seems like a personal vision. Like, I really want to make this. This is me. This is a Robbie film, or you know, whatever whoever it is. Whereas a director can just be someone that turns up, does the job, goes home, doesn't think about it. It doesn't consume them. You know, like, I think that's the beautiful thing about film. If it's something you love, it stays with you the whole time, and you wake up in the morning, and you could go. You know, it could be 3 AM in the morning. You wake up in the middle of the night and think, oh, wow, I've got an idea, and then you start writing it down, and then you go back to bed, and you wake up excited thinking, oh, was that a good idea? Maybe it wasn't all the time, but sometimes it is. But I think that's, when you're like that, you're a filmmaker. When it's a love thing.
Okay.
Right now it still feels like it's the calm before the storm. Well done, everybody, alright? It keeps kind of cementing into me that this is where I'm from, you know, this is the people that I descend from.
So from the first thing that you guys made, what lessons did you learn, and what would you look back and say, oh, mate, could have done this better, or actually you were on point from the first production, you're that amazing?
I think you're always learning.
Okay.
And if the minute you think you can stop learning, you're kind of on. For me, it's, you know, there's always going to be more, because it's a lifelong journey. You know, I think when I got into the industry and sort of thought this is the only thing I'm going to do for the rest of my life, till I'm 80, I'll be doing this. Do you know what I mean? So I kind of think that you want to keep learning, and you kind of want to feel like.
So you're saying your first production was?
No, it was flawed. It was flawed, and they still are flawed. I watch it all the time now and think, oh, this is bad. But you know, you're responding to people's needs. You're responding to other people who are at the table, and some things need to get out the door quicker. Some things you have time to fester. You know?
Can do everything better. Everything I've created, and I look back on.
You cry?
No, it's not that I cry. It's, I can only ever truly find 1 or 2 shots that I'm truly happy with.
Okay.
Everything else could have been better. Everything else could have been a bit. So it's like, I can look at a 30-minute piece and be like, in that 30 minutes, there's only a minute and a half in there that I think is really amazing. Everything else could have been better. So
how do you guys, being the director, how do you guys rein it in or let yourself be directed? Is that, am I even asking the right question?
Yeah,
is there any, how, if you're like criticising a shot, how do you like let it go? Or who tells you to, you know what, let it go?
I think you have to let it go, otherwise you just go insane. Like, I think because it is an art form, and we are artists and we are perfectionists, and so we like things in a certain way, and when you see that vision in your head, you want it to be, and it never comes out in your head how it does, even if you've got this massive production, this money, whatever, the lighting, for some reason, you know, it's very rare that a director and a DOP will be like, perfect, even when you get back to the footage. So I think it's about what this process has taught me a lot. It's about you just have to let go. Like, not everything is going to be perfect, but as long as you finish the project and you're proud of it, and you treated your contributors right from a documentary, like ethically, whatever. But I just think, you just have to let. That's one of the key lessons of filmmaking.
And you use that to motivate you as well. Like Victor was saying, is that when you look back and you think, okay, I could have done this better, I could have done that better. You use that for your next project. You think, okay, now I'm going to just go to the next level and go to the next level. That's why you keep growing and learning. And that's why it's addictive, because you keep thinking, I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to bring this to life. We're crazy people, like filmmakers. We're actually insane. But it's a labour of passion.
I have a recurring nightmare, it's a bit weird, Because so my thing is, I've never worked any production where I've had all the resources I've needed. So you always work with what you got. So things can always be better because you didn't have everything you had. I've got this recurring nightmare that one day I'm going to get to a stage where I'm going to be so established that I'm going to work on production, I'm going to have all the money in the world, everything's going to be perfect, I'm still not going to be happy. It's because I'm just not a good enough filmmaker.
Oh God.
Because you've got everything, and then you're still not happy with what you've accomplished. It's like there's nothing else to blame.
No, but you know what? If you get to that point when you've got all of the resources and then you're happy, that's when you have a problem. Do you know what I mean? It's like you can have all of the resources and everything there that you need, and you're still going to want to do better, and you're still going to see shots that you're going to want to improve, or a performance that you think you could have brought out more from the actor. So that is actually.
But once you have everything, what can you improve on? So
no, but you can still. You will always still want to improve, even if you have all of the equipment, all of the massive budget, great cast. You'll look back and think, I could have brought out more from that scene. I could have made her cry more. I could have.
But that's exactly what I'm saying. I could have, but I didn't. So therefore, I'm not
No.
I'm happy.
That's part of the growth. There's never going to be a point, I don't think, where anyone's going to say, okay, this is it, I'm the best filmmaker in the world, I'm the best I can be. If you get to that stage, you can't grow more, you won't.
But I think, like, once you...
Well, you better be.
Once you've done something, if it's in the spirit, like the creative spirit of the project, like, and it's not necessarily everything you've loved about it, I do believe when someone sees it, they see the original spirit of it. They don't see all the mistakes, because every director ever goes on and on about, oh, I wish I'd got that, I wish I had more time, I wish I had this bit of kit, and everyone says it, but you know, audiences still go and watch films and love them, but yet every last director will say there's so much of that I didn't like, and I just think people take the spirit, the audience takes the spirit of the film.
So what's the most important skill a director needs to have, like, to be considered a good director?
I think it's for me, it's delegation and the ability to accept criticism. You know, because I think it kind of relates to the two questions ago. You said, you know, director, filmmaker, is there a difference? I think that it is, you know, a collaborative effort, and there are many voices at the table. Everyone that's coming there, from the sound man to the colorist to the editor, they are all filmmakers in their own right. And I think it's having that ability to delegate and trust and feel like this is part of one whole cake. You know what I mean? That actually, I'm comfortable with everybody knowing what they're doing, and just steering that, just being able to kind of, you know, direct without fear, really.
I think it's being able to listen to loads of different people, take in all the bits you need to know, and maybe go off course on your original track if someone is improving on your original vision, and then using that stuff to make the project better, like to make the project better than the sum total of everyone that's involved.
I think as well, you have to have an understanding of everyone's roles as well, because then you can know how to, you know, like when you're talking to the DOP or the lighting guy, it's good for the director to have a knowledge of, they don't have to know everything, but at least so they can not, you know, sometimes you might say, oh, do this, but then you don't understand that that's not possible because of what you're asking, because you don't understand what that person has to do that, do you know what I mean? So it's helpful when the director has a basic understanding of all the roles, so he can give instructions more precise and accurate.
So with being a director, it seems like this is one of the careers where you have to study, you have to get some sort of formal training, or can you just go guerrilla style and learn on the job?
I mean,
you got to train with everything. You got to train with everything. You look at boxers. You look at any profession, anything that is a skill, or you know, you want to master something. You've got to train. Anyone who thinks you don't have to train, you're running down a blind alley.
I mean, I went to film school, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend film school for everyone, because some of them you just go and you don't really learn more than you would if you were actually on set filming. They just teach you stuff, but it's not necessarily what you actually need to know in the field. Depends how good the film school is. But I
was going to say, if you've been to a reputable place, does it get your foot in the door?
You know, a lot of art colleges and stuff get people in, and they take people's money, and they promise all these things, and they don't really deliver. And I know a lot of people have been to a lot of
privileged position, though, in the sense that you've been.
Yeah, I've been. Yeah, I've been
so
to two.
You can say. Do you think that had you not have gone, you still could have?
Well, it'll give you, if you haven't gone, you could always think, oh, that's something I should have done, and that would have led me to X, Y, Z. You know, I know an awful lot of people that never went, and they've got, they've arguably got way further than me, and I've been to some pretty good art colleges and film schools, but I think a lot of them don't deliver what you think they're going to deliver when you go in, and it's sort of, people see that as a route. They go, right, okay, I've done my A-levels or whatever, right, I'm going to go to film school, and then I'm going to come, and you go film school, and there's not really that much stuff there, and you suddenly realise that you could have spent the same amount of money in 3 years making films with people, and you'd have got the same.
Do you feel film school, because I've heard someone have this conversation with me before, that they felt film school confines your way of thinking. It's like, it shows you how to make film, but film in itself is a creative process. You should be able to think outside the box and do whatever your mind comes to your mind, but film school tells you this is how you make film.
It can be, yes. It can be. In a word, yes.
It kills your dreams.
No, I mean, I'm not saying all film schools are bad, not at all. I mean, if it's a good film school and you've got great, like people that go to UCLA or something like that, I mean, that's obviously going to be great. You're going to have top people, but I I think it's a bit of a fallacy just to think that is, a lot of people think that's the route, I'm going to go to film school. And I know a lot of people that went to film school and turn around to me and go, didn't really get that much out of it, spent a lot of money, met some people, made some stuff with my own money, spent a lot more money, got a lot of debt. Would I have been better off just having 3 years on a set of a big feature film? Yes.
But then you say that, but then I look at all the film schools that are, and all the graduates, they're all in the category of awards. So they automatically get that bypass to the Gurisons or a prestigious award, and they get an automatic like you see, they're like, where's they all come from school? They've all come from like 4 people have come from one main school and then 2 outside. You're like, obviously there is like a certain prestige and access. So I do feel like as much as people they do. It's like 50-50. Like,
it's an interesting thought process that you raised, though, because you sort of say, does it confine the way you think? But then you look at, for me, you look at the way successful films or award-winning films, and if that's what you aspire to making, there is a certain formula that none of them really waver from. No. You know, especially if it's coming out of Hollywood, there is a formula. Yeah. And training in that way of thought is actually preparing you for that formula. You know, and I'd be interested, you know, I think it's interesting as filmmakers here, how far, because for me in sort of factual or documentary form, I like to be non-linear, but I know that in itself brings a flaw to the films that I make in terms of how widespread they're going to appeal. But you know, you know, as the dramatists among us, do you feel that following that formula and those confinements that you would get at film school kind of helps you understand the process better?
It depends if you went to a film school that teaches sort of classic structured design or whether they kind of more experimental. I went to one that kind of it was more of an art. I went to Edinburgh College of Art and I went to St Martin's before that. And St Martin's was cool because I was doing illustration at the time and I thought, hey, maybe I'll just, you know, draw my ideas as comics, and then someone would go, hey, I'll give you some money, and then somehow they were going to give me loads of money to make the films, but that never happened. So I just switched and did film. But I think I do remember, and this is from a wide range of people I know that have gone to most of the places, I don't think anyone was really that impressed by it. Just me being real, like I don't think anyone was like, this was the thing that changed my career. Most of them will say, I met some really great people, and if people are talented and great, and even if it's in somewhere that's bad, they will go on to be great somewhere because they were great. They weren't great because they went to a great college. They were already great.
Can I also add to that as well, that I think that knowing the like codes and conventions and stuff of film, even if you don't want to follow them, it's good to know them and understand how film works in case you want to subvert them and do something different, or you know, okay, this genre works like this, and then I'm just going to drop something in there and change it completely because that's how I want it to work. So I think it's good to understand it, and also I think the theory as well. So for me, for example, my dissertation was on Black British representation in film, so that was what I like kind of focused on and honed in on, and I had to do a lot of case studies on Black British film. There weren't that many at the time, but understanding the theory of representation and how that works was really useful for me in terms of making things, not necessarily following the status quo kind of thing.
Well, it's so obvious because my dissertation was exactly the same.
Was it? What was your case study on? Did you case study?
Hoop Dreams.
Oh, okay.
What attracts you to a project? Is it the writer, the producer, the script, the theme, or the budget?
For me, it would be script, story.
Script first.
Yeah. I try to do things that I naturally would be passionate about. So if it's not really something I'm into, then I'm not gonna be able to do my best on it. So for me, it's a story.
And how does that vary for those who make documentaries? Because how do you get that? What attracts you to a?
I think, again, it's very similar. It's the idea, and it's also, am I the right person to tell this story? Because you might have there's some amazing stories out there, but I might not be the right person. You don't want to be a voyeur, even though it's hard within documentary to do that. But you just need to. You have to analyse yourself and how the way you think, and see if you can do the project.
What attracts me is authenticity and exclusivity. Like how authentic can this be, and is it is it something that only I or the people that I'm working with can actually tell? You know, because so many ideas have been done Like you kind of want to feel like you're progressing it somehow. So that's kind of what I look for.
So do you guys have a passion project that's burning within you that you want to tell, yet to tell?
Tons.
Loads.
Every day
There's a long list. Yeah.
But yeah, I think again, it's like when you're creative, you have thousands of ideas, but it's like narrowing it down to the one that's gonna get funding or you can raise finances for and stuff like that. So it's like you've got so many ideas, but you have to think practicality, time while you're still working other jobs. You still, so it's a lot. But yeah, the investment thing, I suppose, is a big one in deciding what project you do next.
So I'm going to get on to investment. So is that what it is? Investment is how easy or hard is it to get investment for your projects, and what do you do?
I think as well, it does come back to that thing again of the story or the concept, because that has a lot to do with it. Because essentially you're trying to get people to believe in the vision or the message, the story you're trying to tell. That, and also, it depends where you're going. Does it fit into these investors' agenda? There's loads of, there's quite a few things behind it as well. So it's not just the story, but it depends on who you're going to. How does that align with what they're trying to do and stuff like that?
I think I agree. I think it's the idea. I think the idea, there's nothing as contagious as a good idea. And if it's a really good idea, you go to finance, but then you'll be excited about it, and they'll see that you're excited about it. And even if it doesn't quite fit what they want, they'll still be like, "But there was something in it. I could see that I could see that people are getting excited about it." And I think, I write my own things. I produce my own things. So for me, what attracts me to a project is, am I excited about it? Is it something that if I told someone, I think they would be excited about it? And if I'm really excited about it, I'll just do it. And
it's like Dragon's Den. People come in there with all these ideas, and then it's like, it might not be fully finished, or they can see that you've done what you can, and then they just want to see the potential. They might even invest because they just like you as the person behind it. It depends on.
Depends on the platform, really. Film's very different to TV. TV is very different to online. In film, investment-wise, it's all about what you've accomplished. Everyone looks to your last hit.
Okay.
What have you done before? Are you someone we can take a punt on? Film's a lot different to TV and anything else. It's all about, it's a larger risk. And it's about, they're going to take a risk on you accomplishing what you said you want to accomplish, and it's going to attract the crowd you say it's going to attract, and do the business it's going to do. We just got a deal off the back of the fact that our last film was independent, self-funded, we made it, we proved there's an audience for it, and also the people we went for finance from were people that had the same audience, just in a different capacity. So we went to a music label for finance, and their audience music-wise is the same audience we're trying to attract film-wise. So it makes sense to them. So it's like, you got to be clever with who you go to for financing, how you package it, and so on and so forth. In TV, it's the whole commissioning route. Broadcasters commission people they know can deliver. It's the long and short of it. As a new production company, you're less likely to get commissions because you're not tried and tested. Like, who are you? We're not going to give you £4 million to go create a show because what have you created previously? So you got to start small, get the small things off, then get something a bit bigger off until you get to the stage where BBC would be like, all right, cool, so you made content for Sky, Channel 4, ITV, all right, we'll give you a couple million because you've got a track record. People vouch for you. And it's like, but until you get to that stage, you've got to go through the thing of creating stuff for near to no money, or partnering with a lot larger companies, doing co-pros, where they take all the money, you get nothing, but you get the credit. And the credit counts for a lot on TV. It opens doors for you to do more stuff. So, yeah, it depends on the lane when it comes to finance, really.
So then the obvious thing is there's the representation behind the camera. Have you guys faced that wall, or has it been smooth sailing? Being a director, trying to get yourself, recognised from the diversity perspective.
Bamey.
Bame.
Have you met him?
That old fella. Bame.
I definitely think it's harder.
It is, yeah.
Definitely, like.
From what? Why is it? Is it just because you're black? Just because you're female? Or is it about proving yourself? What do you have to do to get?
For me, I often walk into rooms and I'm the only black person there, and I can see people casting their kind of stereotypes on me about what they think I'm going to be like, or whether they think this guy deliver, this guy? Do you know what I mean? And it's and you always kind of feel that that's the uphill struggle. That's the uphill struggle that you know Giles from Oxford is not going to have to face. And you know
the way I summarise that, and I always sort of you kind of think we are not allowed to walk in as creatives first. You know, you don't walk into a room and you're a creative. You walk into the room, you can feel that in your own self. You know what I mean? You know you're a creative, but the perception is that you walk in and oh yeah, you're here because we're ticking a box, or you know we're doing something. You know, and it's an interesting tussle, one that you just have to.
I think as
keep
well
hustling around.
with both of those points, it's like I'm going to play devil's advocate here, but I think sometimes as well we can project because we feel like when we go into a room that's how people might respond to us. Do you know what I mean? I'm not saying that's what you did, but I'm saying for me, for example, initially, if I went to a room and I'm a black woman in a hijab, do you know what I mean? It's like I can feel that insecurity before I go in the room of how am I going to be responded to. And I think as I kind of, I don't know if it's just, I don't know what it was, maybe it's just time or confidence or I'm not sure, but the more that you, I guess, are confident and you know what you do and what you bring to the table and who you are, I think within moments, whatever walls are up, they can kind of come down. The moment you open your mouth, most of the time.
I totally agree, but I still think it's there.
Yeah, I think
Sorry, no, I think it's definitely there, but it's what I was talking to you before. It's that it depends if you want these people to give you like the acknowledgement. Like like I think all of us, we all know we're capable of doing it. So it's like I don't need your approval to be here. Like you go in there and you like I can do this job. It's whether you like me or not, and I'll go do other work as well. Like this is not the end for me. So I think it's changing your mindset and not going into spaces where you're like, this is the everything. This is going to be my approval for being a filmmaker. No, it's not. Like you approved yourself by getting up, making that film, created it. You've done that. So I think a lot of it is to do with mindset, but also it's 100% there. Like I've not worked on an all-black cast or crew and stuff. I know those productions are happening with the next generation, which is amazing to see because of the access of different platforms. Like there is a Black British movement of creatives for sure. Like it is turning over, and I think that is the game changer.
And more females coming through.
A lot of females, like whether they're female DJ collectives, artists, like we are coming together more, and I think that's beautiful.
Girls are taking over.
Yes, basically.
I think that applies with a lot of industries anyway. With like it is how you look at it, because it can work to your advantage being from a ethnic background. Because let's assume they perceive this of you, but then when you go in there, do what you have to do, you're gonna change their perception. Do you know what I mean? So sometimes I look at it as okay, cool. I know what this is, but let me show you what it really is. Do you know what I mean? So you can embrace it and make it. Because it will make you stand out even more if you use it in the right way.
I think.
What are you going to say?
There's different factors that affect this situation. I think there's a class issue in this industry more than there's a race issue in this industry, firstly. And I think it's familiarity. The reason there isn't as many female directors as there is male directors is because there's a lot more male executives. So the person giving you the job in the first place is a guy. He's going to relate with another guy more than he's going to relate with a female. So it's more likely to give a guy a job over a female. If he's a white guy, he's going to relate more to another white man than he is to another black man. So it's a lot to do with familiarity. It's like they're hiring you to do a job. They have to work with you day in, day out. They want someone that they feel comfortable with. And it's a shame that it's built that way. But until we have more people of BAME background in positions of power and hiring, it won't really change. All these initiatives, all the rest of it, it's all rubbish, if I'm being honest with you. Until you get commissioners which are of colour, executives which are of colour, which are also female, it's not going to change. People are going to hire their mates, they're going to hire people that look like them, sound like them, walk like them, and it's going to keep going down that route.
But do you feel like there needs to be more BAME people in those institutions, or do you think we need to create our own institutions for those, have our own institutions where they are a black broadcaster and stuff like that, instead of going to them and wanting to change? Like, I'm just asking. Like,
then that's segregation.
It's not really.
It's
not really. I know what you're saying, because I feel, and because I listened to exactly what you said, and I feel that there are some, because a black person has gone through in the ranks to get to a position of power, in many ways they're going to have to have been institutionalized, and the ideals that they adhere to are got nothing to do with them being black. It's because they made content that was marketable or populist or commercially viable. Do you know what I mean? And so the struggles that you may see as someone who, for quote unquote, a conscious black person, you know, those things that are prevalent in your mind may be so far removed from that person who's managed to climb the ladder, because to climb that ladder you have to assimilate to a certain extent.
And then at the same time, looking at like what Victor's doing at the moment, you know, it's like he's producing his it's your second, isn't it? Second feature, and I think things like that, that's what I think is progress in terms of for the community, because you have, you know, established yourself to a certain level of power where you can hire, you know, and involve more people from the community, and I think we shouldn't underestimate what it is we're doing.
But also I find problems in that as well.
Right.
Yeah. Because, so a lot of BAME individuals.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, it's about you lot. It's about you lot.
No, go on.
A lot of BAME individuals want to be the boss. They want to be director or the producer. When I look for BAME gaffers, when I look for BAME DIT, when I look for BAME sound ops, editors, they're not out here.
Black editors?
Editors.
Yes.
I've been looking for one for the last 6 months.
No. Honestly, because they all want to be directors or producers.
I know what you mean.
They want to be the boss. And there's so many different roles in this industry where people make tons of money. I know gaffers that make more money than you can shake a stick at, being gaffers. But where's the black gaffers at?
But I think
they just don't want to do that.
Can I jump in? Is that back to education, formal training and understanding the industry? Because across the board, people don't know the industry.
100%, like what I said, I didn't know there was all these different roles when I was like coming up in it. So I had to learn that. So it is down to education as
also,
well.
a lot of people that are like gaffers or anything like that, or grips, chances are it's a family job. Chances are like their dad or their granddad was it. They keep doing it.
Right.
Whereas I don't think in the BAME community that's been established in any way.
On my last film, I had a young guy, Polish guy, come along. Yeah, he was a runner on it. Yeah, he took a good liking to the gaffer department. Electrical department. 6 months later, he's a spark. You know what I mean? And a year later, he's working on Star Wars. And it's like he come from a runner to doing that. Now black runners that just they want to be. I asked them, what do you want to do? I want to be a director. I want to be a producer. Nothing else. No other aspirations.
That's where the limelight is.
That's where the limelight is. But it's like you've got to realise this industry is built on many different aspects, many different jobs, and I just wish there was more people in other roles, BAME individuals in other roles in this industry.
It's a talk about a time when you're at a low of your career, and how did you overcome that? Like maybe you have kind of, I don't want to do this anymore.
Low point. For me, working in TV, as a freelancer, there's going to be months where you may not get a call. You're sending out 100 CVs and you're not getting no responses. For me, I just got over it by continuously putting shit out there and begging people to, I won't say begging, but you know what I mean, just chipping away at it. And I know that's it's a cliched thing, but that was how I got over it, was just continuously sort of saying, I'm here, you know what I mean, you're going to have to listen, But working in TV, you have 2-3 months where you might not get a response,
Similar type of thing, like after I did University Master for Sky, at the time I felt like I made it. I thought, yeah, mummy, I made it, I'm on Sky. And then I just didn't get another commission for ages. For ages. I'm going to these commissioning meetings, meeting these commissioners, we're drinking tea, we're doing lip service. For 9-12 months, I get some things into development. They're in development for 9 months, and then they scrap them. It breaks your heart. It's like
heartbreaker.
It's like, and then I now understand why they call it development hell, because it is hell. And then it got to a stage where me and Femi were like, we just got to do something else. And then we went and made a film, and off the back of making a film, it's like people on TV took more notice of us. Then we got a commission around the same time as well. But it's like, I feel people need to see you being proactive.
Yes.
And when they see you're doing things, like they want to give you more things.
You're attractive.
Yeah. So you kind of got to roll with it and keep yourself active and if you're not getting commissions, go do a short film and go do film competitions and go do this, go do that. But you've got to be active.
Yeah.
If you're just kind of that guy that hasn't had a hit for a year and a half and has done nothing in between it, hasn't gone and done a short, hasn't gone and done anything, just trying to chase that commission, they're kind of...
It's dead. So.
Yeah, they leave you for dead, kind of.
Yeah, there was people are just attracted to movement. As long as you're moving, when you stop, suddenly just
like a shark,
stops.
Yeah. And I've got the mindset of not being comfortable. Like if something comes in and it's paying whatever, cool, that's fine. But I never think, okay, that's it. It's always like, still have to do something for myself. Like, well, even if it's not paying me, this because what I've done for myself with no money is probably what got me that in the first place anyway. So it's just keeping that going, do you know what I mean? So it's like...
And again, I think it goes back to, because it is a labour of love and it's a passion, it's like, for me, one of the low points I remember was when I launched my drama school. So we had about 250 students, everything was going well. And then there was a little bit of a dispute amongst the people who had started the school and so on, and I had to separate. And that was really, really difficult because that was like, you know, I was there from the foundation. It's something I put my heart and soul into. But then at the same time, it's like, okay, well, I just got to make more films and do what it is I love. And I always said I didn't want to be like, you know, a head teacher or anything. It's not, my dream was always, I want to make films. So it was going back into creating content. And another difficult time was actually during David is Dying. I remember when I first got on the set, it was the first feature that I worked on, and I came on board as a production manager. I was working with Andy on it, and I remember after the first day on set, funny enough, it goes back to what you said. There was, you know, this crew, and it was mainly, you know, all white crew pretty much, apart from Andy and Stephen, the director. And I remember after the first day, not feeling, I'll be honest with you, I felt a little bit incompetent. I felt like, are these people going to respect me? Are they going to listen to me as a production manager? And I felt really overwhelmed. But again, it was just going back to who I am and why I'm doing what I'm doing. And my mum was also fantastic. And then it's just kind of getting on with it. And I think it's that spirit of kind of get up and go and being consistent and being passionate that kind of sees you through those times. And then the rest is history kind of thing.
I told you it was going to be hard.
Yeah, you did.
Quick fire. Can I get your favourite film of all time and what you're watching now? It's quick fire. Everybody.
That question.
No, I'm not allowing that question.
Favourite film of all time?
Yeah.
Never ending story.
Or film, TV, documentary.
Never ending story.
Oh,
that's the answer to the question.
Is that it? Never ending story.
Yeah, that's my film. I love that film.
It is a good film.
Do you wish you directed it?
I wish I was in it.
Okay, cool.
Raiders of the Lost Ark. I've seen it about 80 times easily. Love that film.
Yeah, it's a good film.
I think for me, my favourite film is Donnie Darko.
That's an amazing film as well.
It's so good.
It's overrated.
What?
Whatever.
Completely overrated.
Yeah.
For me, the game-changing film and the film that just made me think, oh, I want to make that City of God. You know, I just saw it over and over again. It was a cinematic experience, and it just did something really interesting with cinema and put South American cinema on the map as well. So what I'm watching at the moment are just the Defiant Ones. If you haven't seen it, Jimmy Iovine and Dr. Dre, and how they brought beats to Apple. The best series I've seen in a very long time.
Where can you watch it?
I saw it on. I saw it in America, but I think it's on Amazon Prime.
Okay.
It's just unbelievable for anyone who's also chasing a dream.
I've seen snippets of it. That's good.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's about 4 or 5.
Go ahead.
Titanic, I really love because it moves me. Forrest Gump as well. I love Forrest Gump. I think it's really character driven, and I love the way the stories intertwine and it's told through such a beautiful perspective. Primal Fear, because I love the twist at the end.
Classics.
Yeah. Once Upon a Time in America.
Oh, great
film.
film.
Yeah, and that's all I can think of off the top of my head.
That's fine.
So many, but the one that made the biggest impression when I first saw it was Flubber.
Oh,
I can't lie, like, I saw Flubber when I was younger. Yeah, I was like,
That is epic.
No, it's a little jelly thing.
So good.
Because the green, slime
green
balls.
club.
when you're young,
Robin Williams.
That was.
Oh
I thought
man.
that was so
What
sick.
did you like about it?
Just cause like there was that robot that was floating, like the effects, and like it was funny. It just had loads of bits in it, and it wasn't like a serious film. I could just watch it and enjoy it. Like that's how it made that impression on me. Obviously, there's more, but that one was the first one that stood out.
I love that.
Yeah, that was
Thank you, guys. So basically, we've been working with some guys earlier on to come up with this great story. So in 5 minutes, you've got to tell me, from your director's perspective, how you're going to shoot this, and where's the location, all that type of stuff that you directors do. So I'm going to quickly run through the story. It is a romantic crime comedy series. Got that? It is about a serial killer couple who have a daughter who's been kidnapped by the #1 global serial killer who is blackmailing them to kill more serial killers because this serial killer is feeling very insecure because their #1 global position is being threatened by all these other serial killers that have come on to, you know, taking his shine or their shine. So, just basically, can you imagine it? Can you picture it? Do you get the story right now?
Yeah.
Where's it set? How are you going to shoot it? Give me some tips. Give me some answers.
I'll shoot it as a mockumentary.
A mockumentary? Is it? Okay.
Interesting.
Suggestions, please. We've only got 5 minutes.
Sorry to destroy the format point, but I'm a realist. I deal with real stories, so I'll stay out of this one.
No, you have to contribute. This is you've been hired. This is it. Come on,
I would get an.
What's the budget?
Okay, tell me. I don't. What's the budget?
I think it needs to be British. It can't be American.
It can't be British.
It could, I don't think. Yeah.
Oh my god.
British and Nigeria, like England and Nigeria, back and forth. But no, yeah, I can't see it being American.
So it's a British story.
Yeah, it's British.
Definitely not Nigerian story.
British humour then, because it's
yeah,
comedy,
British
I think
humour.
British
So dark, twisted.
You'd want some retro 80s or 90s actor to be the main someone who's not seen as a serial killer, because that would make it funnier.
Okay.
Someone who's, you know.
Go with that.
Okay. Come on, give me more.
Lenny Henry could be the main guy.
Allow it.
It's
a lady.
The #1 serial killer is female.
Oh, it's female.
Who would you cast?
So is this what you guys? Is this what directors do? You'd be doing the casting and all that, looking at all of
I've
that.
got to try and I've got to try and see who's in
Well,
it,
you've
so
got
it
5
could
minutes.
work.
It's on the fly, man.
Yeah.
So you're going with the fact that it's a mockumentary.
I like that.
And it's a series. By the way, it's a series. We have just established it's a
Judith
series.
Dench, the big boss.
Judi Dench.
Yeah.
So someone like that who's
Lethal her partner.
A henchman. Yeah.
No, I would have to veto that, to be honest. I would veto that.
So what other things?
There's always that kind of black sidekick, like.
Okay.
I think there should be a serial killer convention.
Okay.
That they all.
Yeah, like at the Excel.
Yeah.
What's that guy from the IT crowd who's really the black
Richard
guy?
Ayoade.
Yeah, he should be in it.
Okay.
Because he's good.
Who would you have for the couple?
What the couple doing?
I think Richard.
They're serial killers.
They're serial killers.
They're married. They're serial
everyone
killers. The husband used to be a veterinarian. She's older than him, by the way.
Yeah.
The wife is older than her husband. She's 36 and her husband's 26. Their daughter's 11.
Wow.
You got to put Idris in it because Idris is in everything.
No.
He's in everything. You can't make anything about him in it, so you got to put him in it.
You guys, what about the location? What's the setting?
It depends on the style. I mean, you
I
could
feel
do
like
that.
rural England.
Rural.
Yeah, like
Really?
countryside.
I was thinking
And then it
city.
might go
I
a bit
think
into the city for
London.
like the action bit, but they live in Devon. You know,
Oh,
they
wow,
live in a nice
specific.
country.
Well, you mean some kind of
cottage.
mansion type thing?
Yeah,
and
they're like,
then
you know, the
some
only
kind of
because they
remote.
used to be
Serial killers and they.
Yeah.
They are
They
serial
got
killers.
money,
still
yeah.
are.
Yeah,
So
still
they
are.
have-
They should be
they
in
have
the council
money.
estate.
Council estate. Okay.
That's interesting.
I agree.
Undercover. Because
They'll have a bit of more.
Why a
motive.
council estate?
It's comedy, innit?
Oh, so what, when you press like the kitchen and then something revolves around, it's like got guns and stuff. Like,
Not
in
even
the
that. I
council.
think there's like they're clumsy serial killers. They're a bit like moronic. Somehow they get away with it every time, but they don't know how they get away with it.
But
And there's
remember,
got to
they're
be
being,
like there's got to be that one cop who's trying to
there is
link
a-
it all together. That's a really
I feel like
key
you should have a
character.
scene when they're about to kill someone. They have an argument about how they're going to kill this person. The person's sitting there like,
They're still alive, yeah.
what's going on? They're arguing like, but you killed the last person. No, but you killed the person before that. And the last person you couldn't, but like, no, I think it's quite moronic.
If I was doing
It's
that, there'd be a
stupid.
kill count under each episode of the show. Like, you know,
Okay,
there'd be
okay.
like you'd have a little number and it would go up.
Did you say budget?
2 mil
Per episode.
per ep.
Is it 2 mil per ep?
If
Really?
you're wishing, why
Okay.
don't you just go for a cool
Might as
5?
Is this co-funded by Netflix? Yeah.
So we go for a 5 mil each episode. That's
Might as
fine.
well,
So,
yeah.
Might as well.
Netflix got
Okay.
international rights worldwide.
Yeah,
So with 5 mil,
Yeah.
5 mil.
what's the tone?
can't
What's,
be on
what
the
is the
Oh,
couch.
you
mood?
could get those
then,
shots
eh?
in that you,
Yeah,
that you liked, or that wouldn't fit the
You could get all the
documentary
stuff. Yeah, you get all the.
You said you like that great Gatsby shot in the party when they go through the.
This isn't a Great Gatsby type of thing.
No.
This isn't a Baz Luhrmann type of.
No. That's why I say get them out of the estate.
So have you done your, is this what it is?
Get them out of the estate. Black serial killers in an estate, it's done.
You said they're black?
You said Idris Elba.
That's one of them.
Yeah, but he's the main lead.
They are black.
In an estate as a serial killer.
Countryside, guys.
I think get him to Devon.
Countryside would be funnier. I don't know why. It just would be.
They're doing the cows and they're like,
yeah.
They've got a farm, like, great.
That's what, they travel into London every time they need to kill someone?
Yeah. Well, no, they've got to go around like Birmingham, Manchester, like they've got like the England,
They've got special cars.
Remember they're being forced, blackmailed also to go and target all these different serial killers.
But is it relevant to the script? Because we are not the writers, right? So is there any, we might not be able to just choose anywhere if it's in the script that they're in.
Where they direct
in the city.
No, this is you.
Okay.
So you guys happy with this?
Isn't there an opportunity to have like Stormzy in a cameo?
Sure.
Potentially.
Sure.
Oh yeah, it's got to be Cameo City. You got to
get Mo the comedian.
Get everyone in.
Rapper.
Fine.
Yeah.
Get everyone in it.
Is there a possibility that my name's not attached to this?
And that's it. Thank you.